Hello.
I don't know, these papers are all mixed up, I can't figure it out.
Okay, just, yeah, just do our regular stuff and then we'll go right into J.
Okay, I'd like to call meeting to order at 5:59. The meeting is over in order,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
You want me to go through the agenda, Jim, or do you want to?
Are there any changes to the agenda?
Is there any changes to this agenda?
None on this side.
No.
Nope. Okay,
We're still,
You gotta use the side feed.
talking to me?
Yep, you gotta use the side because it's not working properly.
Okay, scheduled business.
Any unscheduled open public comment? Not here.
Any comment? Public comment?
No,
Okay,
we're here for the Jane show.
approval of the minute, April 13th, 2023.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 13th meeting.
Second,
All in favor?
Discussion.
Do I hear any discussion on the minutes from April 13th?
nope.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The approval minutes have been approved.
Well, we did have to approve those special meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the meeting, the special meeting on April 17th, 23.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we accept the minutes for the special meeting.
The orders have been signed.
Okay, the pay order's been signed, so we'll go to new business. Jay, start.
Sparks.
thank you.
I'll just do a quick introduction. Jay Sparks is our emergency management director. And a nice, all around nice guy. And when he starts talking, he'll show up on the scene.
No.
And Jay, I'm just gonna turn it over to you and let you run things.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I guess for the most part, the select board had a lot of questions, and the idea of a warming center was brought up a couple of weeks ago. Due basically because the last storm, there was a lot going on, and with the power loss, and just it's a good idea. It's an idea I fully support. I'm not quite sure exactly what the
I think I have one in my.
community center is equipped to handle. So, I mean, that was the biggest thing. The one thing with a warming center or any kind of center that you have like that, you're gonna need a generator simply to keep the pipes going and everything else, the heat on, because that's the whole purpose of it. A big discussion was held about what kind of generator is needed. Some discussion was brought forward with a large Generac. I'm not sure. I was watching your meeting, I think it was last week or the week before, in which you were discussing the town generator and whether or not it could be connected to the town meeting, to the community center. I'm not really sure what the legalities behind that. If it can work, I guess it can work.
If I could just add something real quick, Jay,
Sure.
I did look into this. The current automatic generator that we have outside the town office here is just powerful enough to power this side of the building. It does not, can't even power the post office. So are you familiar with the MERP program that's going on? In the state, it's Municipal Energy Resiliency, program. that
I'm
we're
not.
gonna- It's a thing for municipalities to get money for energy needs. Up to $500,000 ultimately. If, depending on, what we request. And so as that program goes forward, I think we can talk the legalities, logistics. It does not apply to buildings that are not owned by the town, but we can investigate how that works. I have also gotten in touch with the WRC on, any kind of state funding that could go direct to the MCC for their own generator system. So it's all, I think, a work in progress, and I think over the next couple of months, I think we can, really nail down some ideas.
Yeah, that's great. I also I reached out to the Red Cross. They're a lot more difficult to work with than people like to believe. But they are right now, I think they're in talks with Potash Hill to discuss renewing the shelter agreement they had under Marlboro College. That the property has changed hands a couple times. From what I remember, and the shelter would be in where the dining hall was or is. It would be up on the stage, and it would be roughly 17 beds. If you can power the community center, if that can be powered, I don't know if you can put beds somewhere in there, and that could also serve as a shelter. The fire station has been in the past listed as a shelter. I believe it's still listed as a shelter in the LEMP. Those are some of your options right there. As for the LEMP, that's a yearly update. It doesn't change much from year to year because you don't have the nuclear power station anymore, and really you haven't had many issues since Irene. Irene was basically the biggest issue you had, and all that work has been done. All the culvert work you guys had done over the last couple of years has put you right up at the top of the list. Like if anything did happen, the state would respond right away. The state would give you the maximum amount you could have because your rating is that high. So that's just a couple of the highlighted things. As COVID has waned, the state is getting back up together and back in process of getting programs in place for towns and EMDs and trainings available. So I've reached out to both Alyssa and Tyga, who's Tyga's with VEM and Alyssa's with the Regional Planning Commission. And I was trying to reach out to them to get some of the town officials up to speed, get some of the trainings involved that are for emergency management. I know I've been giving Nick a lot of homework lately. There is a program, there is a training available for municipal leaders specifically, which is IS 402. It's run by VEM. There is a class coming up on May 11th. That's a virtual class. There's an in-person class up in Grand Isle. I don't have the date for that, but I'm not sure anybody really wants to go up to Grand Isle to
Yeah, if I could just to my notes I'm taking, when you say that Marlboro is right at the top of the list, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. I'm not really expressing what that list is. You guys had, like, because of all the flooding you had, because being separated, being cut off from the rest of the state during Irene, you had there was a lot of culvert work done. And I can remember when I first moved out here in 2018, you were still doing it. And all that culvert work really would alleviate a lot of the same kind of issues that you had before. I know in a recent rainstorm, you had a couple of washed out roads, but it was something that the town was easily able to handle. It didn't rise to any level of emergency when I was talking to the state and talking to the Regional Planning Commission. Nothing rose to any level to where the state would need to get involved. It was just something that the town handled, and obviously, Andrew handled it really great. So as
Yeah,
the
so
road
it's
foreman.
basically because we did this work, the state would be able to jump in and help us out if we needed it.
Yeah, if you had another level of disaster like Irene, it would be like, look, you've done all this work, you've done your due diligence, you've done what you needed to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and it did. Well, let us help you out a little bit more. So the more money, you're going to get more money should it ever happen again. I can't see it ever happening again. Irene was a once in a lifetime nightmare that you unfortunately had to run through. So that's where your rating is. I check with that rating every year when I go up to the conference well, this year it's going to be in Burke, but when I go to the EM conference, I check on that rating every year, and you guys are always rated right at the top. I think the number is number 10. So that's where you're at.
And then how long is this class? Do you know?
I don't, when I took it, it's about 4 hours.
Okay.
It's a 4-hour class. It's Tiger's probably going to run it for you. And it's similar. I don't know. Did you take ICS 100?
I'm in the like page 42 so far.
It's a lot similar, but it's just geared more to municipalities and municipal leadership. So
Okay.
that's what it
just
is.
I signed up, but it takes a day to get registered, and once I get registered, I'll get the time. Noon to 4 or 5 to 9, whatever. I'll get the time to you guys. I can go to it, but I think it's probably important for at least one of the select board. And I'm also going to send the information to Andrew, going to send it to Tim Seeger. I'm going to send it to all of the heads of the commissions, just so that everybody knows about it.
Yeah. And even if you're taking just the regular ICS FEMA classes, say on the FEMA training website, they're all free. I'm going to suggest 100, 200, 700, 800 is optional. And those are all going to give you a really good understanding of what the state does, what the feds do, and how this stuff works. Most firefighters, policemen already have this stuff. I'm sure Andrew has it. I'm pretty sure he has. I think we've talked about it. And that's how that gives you an understanding. I've also talked to Tiger. I was like, in the beginning when I first took over as the EMD, most of the select board understood, knew a lot about emergency management. I'm not sure where that learning curve is now. We wanted to come in and basically get you all up to speed with 402, with the other ICS courses. I've provided Nick with the link. If you want the link to the FEMA training, just send me an email. I'll give you the link. It's real easy to go. You can even just Google FEMA training.
Yeah, no, I sent it to them already, but I can also resend. And it's you just kind of go through, you just hit the advance arrow, you just kind of go through and read it, and then there's little tests, that you take,
Yeah, you do have to get a FEMA student ID number, but those certificates are all yours. That's just basically how the feds manage
I
ICS.
literally registered in 15 seconds.
Yeah. The courses, again, they can be tedious. I'm an emergency manager, so I'm they're not tedious to me. I understand what's going on. But I was going to try to bring in after all this was done. I wanted to bring in Tiger. I don't know if any of you know Tiger Christie. She's the Southern coordinator for Vermont Emergency Management. I think she's from Halifax. But I wanted to bring her in and perhaps start a seminar just to try to get you really up to speed. And then maybe we could develop some sort of tabletop that the town could do should we get another event like we had a month ago. And that way get us started.
would it be advantageous possibly to designate one of our June meetings or July meeting as having Tiger come and we spend an hour and a half, single, unless there's an emergency thing you have to deal with, but just
Single.
have a 2 hour single topic session with her for her to roll out, go back over the ELMP. I mean, it's a large document. We can't do it today.
Yep.
But is that something you think we can set up and I can work it with the select board and be in touch with you on that?
I'll reach out to Tiger and see what she, what she can do. She really, when I was talking to her, she's like, well, let's get them all up to speed first before we start talking to them.
Great.
Let's let them understand what's going on, what the structures are. This is a pretty easy structure. It comes out of the California Fire Service. It's just about used in almost about every North American country. South America, most of Europe uses this system. It's called ICS NIMS. Well, it's called ICS, but the United States, we call it NIMS, which is the Incident Command System, National Incident Management System. And they're all right there in the actual FEMA training program that you can take. You can go in and I think the actual NIMS training, which is a little long, can be upwards as much as 4.5 hours. And that can be a little dry if you're not into it. But once you understand what's going on, it's a lot of information. Once you understand what's going on, and then you'll say, oh, okay, that's easy. That's how if we have a disaster, that's how it's going to work. This is what Jay's role is. This is what Andrew's role is. This is what the select chair's role is. Because the select chair is my second. If you can't get a hold of me, it's on the select chair. They're going to be the EMD. So that's typically, or whoever the select chair says, it's not me, it's you. His designee.
As Nick hides under the table.
Which is why I was all up Nick giving him the homework. But the EMD is basically a support position where if it's Andrew's got something going on and he's busy in the field, he's calling me to say, look, this is what I need in the field. I need more help, fire service. I need more help with road crew or whatever like that. And that's where I manipulate it. And then I can submit the FEMA documents. Usually I would work with your treasurer or whoever handles the money in the town, whatever their title is. And then we would submit for whatever reimbursement needs to come. But that has to be a level to that where it overwhelms the town.
Right.
The town can't handle it.
Do you have a public information officer?
I think public information is Marsha Hamilton.
I wondered, I didn't know.
Yeah. She's
That was
listed
Marsha
as
Hamilton.
public information officer.
Jay, just to, we kind of scheduled a half hour here. Is there anything in the ELM, this 2023 LEMP that you want the select board to pay actual attention to and then read it? And then if they have questions to reach out to you, is there anything that they should be focusing on?
Not really. It's the standard LEMP. I basically, you caught a name on me. I basically change the names every year. It doesn't change much unless we have a major incident. It is a living document. It is a document that can be adjusted. So if tomorrow we have aliens landing at Potash Hill and you have to come up with a different plan for that, we can adjust the plan for that. That's how the document works. So it's always a living document. It's always something that can be added to, subtracted to. It's the current hazards that Marlboro faces, mostly flooding. I don't think there's been a fire in Vermont in forever, but plans are the structure is there for to deal with that. That's part of the ICS or the incident command system is all hazards. So we start the same way every time. So it's nothing that you really, go through it. I want you to go through it, but it's nothing that really changes from year to year.
Is it ready, aside from the couple of changes that we already talked about, ready to be posted on the website? Or can you, make whatever changes need to be made and then let me know and I'll make sure it gets posted up on the website?
Yeah, I mean, you caught the name. You know, that's like, there's so many names in there and I always miss one or two, but yeah, you can
Well,
post that. It
Yeah,
should have been,
This is what I'm gonna do for you, Jay, is I'm gonna go over it this weekend, looking for the names and making sure the names are all right. And then I'll let you know if there needs to be any changes, you can make the changes, and then I'll go ahead and post it up to the website next
Yeah.
week.
you also have an LEOP that I set up maybe, oh God, it was in
2017,
2019 was the last one I did. But you had the 2017 one on your website. So I can redo that if you want.
Yeah, if you could redo
Yeah.
that, that'd be great also. Jennifer had a question.
Well,
Sure.
I just while Jay's still here, I just wanted to sort of say again that the warming center at the community center is warming center only, so there'll
Okay,
be.
yeah, no, it can be that.
There's no beds, so there will be no beds, so it's different from an emergency shelter. There'll be heat with the generator, there'll be heat, there'll be toilets, there'll be cooking facilities, there'll be water. But there'll be no showers and no beds.
I mean, I had an idea that we could, if we did get a big enough generator, that potentially we could get 20 of those Red Cross cots that you see all the time.
Well, the
That's
Red
what-
Cross can provide them. And if you want it to be a Red Cross designated shelter or a shelter
Oh, I
that's
just
on the
meant
Red
that
Cross
type.
list,
So
they
we
would
don't
provide it.
You don't want.
No, I just meant that
Yes.
height.
Over here, right.
And you
I
could-
also, so I have another message from Gail, who couldn't be here tonight, that she met again with Ty Zinn, the electrician.
I did too.
Oh, great.
Yes, I was gonna report on it.
Oh, okay, well, you go ahead, because mine's second hand, you can say first hand.
All right. So we met over behind, the building next door to see the best place where to, put a generator. And we found one that's 10 feet away from windows and intakes and outtake things and gas tanks and so forth. So, we did, let's see, and he said no way could a line be strung from an old generator. You know. it would have to
Did
be
he come up with a firmer price, or is he still kind of guesstimating 11,000-12,000?
No, that's the estimate. that
Okay,
he
great.
Provided, and it's 24,000. Is that what he said? 24,000 now?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on the agenda either for the 11th or the 25th of May, so that they can really start talking the money issue, because that's gonna be a
Okay.
major concern.
The other thing that just, as a matter of interest, this was just what Gail had said, and you can, if I'm wrong, that Ty just came over and looked at the generator behind this building. And he said, in his opinion, it wasn't worth spending $30,000 because it's a very old,
Yeah.
you know,
That's why we're hoping to
old
use,
technology.
yeah, we're hoping to
Get-
use
getting
the,
new-
we're hoping to use the MERP money to get a new one.
Yeah, if that's what they
And
suggested.
get one that'll also power the post office as well as this part of the
Yeah.
building.
But
Yes.
do we know any idea?
Actually, Edie had a question. She was online.
Well, I just wanted to add that he also, the electrician said it was illegal to put a single generator on two different places. So the idea of joining the community center with the town office was a no-go. So the community center has to look at its own. And as for a warming shelter, that's what we've always been interested in. The emergency shelter, Potash Hill or wherever, it's a whole different ballgame. This is simply a place for people to be able to come if they've lost internet, whatever. But it was mainly, we need to, there are two different generators that we're talking about here.
Marcia, did he write an estimate down that we?
Gail has it.
Yeah, okay, I'll reach out to her, and as I said,
Yeah.
I'll talk with them and we'll decide whether we do it the 11th or the 25th.
And there are other, there might be other funding sources too.
That's what I'm working on.
So that they wouldn't have to compromise if there's a problem with the amount or something.
And listen, our ARPA funds are always a possibility. We do have to consider, is this big enough that, you know, I mean, it's just a discussion that just has to be had.
Is it what we were saying, big enough would
Is, in other words, ARPA is there to help the maximum number of people possible. And, you know, I personally, I think it's a good use of the money, but we have to just decide.
I, just my opinion, I think I think first of all, with hearing what I just heard, we should change the name of the place and it's not an emergency warming shelter. It's not a warming shelter.
No,
It's I personally think that if we're gonna spend a lot of time and potential money, you know, to make a center like this, you know, it should be, you should have the ability to have people stay there for relatively long term as far as getting through a disaster or whatever. But in my opinion, just as a taxpayer with that hat on, I think it's a waste of money and time to have a spot for if someone loses power and internet, they can just come to the town center and use the internet. I mean, what did we all do without internet back in the day? You
Well,
it
know?
won't be
it's
tax
not
money.
really, the internet is not actually the biggest issue. I think it's heat. And
Right, so right, and that's what I assumed when I heard about all this being talked. So if you're gonna provide a place for heat for people who don't have heat, don't have power, can't cook, you know, what do? They just hang out for a couple hours and you say, well, I'm sorry, you don't have power or heat still at your home, but you gotta go because we don't have a place for you to sleep.
Well, I think
Yeah.
Jay is at the same time, it's not like one or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I understand it is, and if Jay's there, he can correct me, Jay is working on the emergency shelter, which is different from a warming center.
Okay.
So that they're at the same time being worked on.
So there's
I
two.
mean,
talking
yeah,
about
they're two different things. Definition. Again, I think the Red Cross is working with Potash Hill, and I've talked to Dan Carter. I talk to Dan Carter all the time, who's the facilities manager up there, and he's basically said, he's like, I don't know if that arrangement's there anymore, but he's working on it. But he's like, Jay, if you need help and you need to open that dining room for the town, call me and it's gonna get open. So to have that opened and run, that's not a major issue. We have a place to bring people if they don't have heat. Another, you know, one of the other things that you know I wanted to move into and why I wanted to try that tabletop was really to set up a sort of I guess a phone tree, I guess the best way, so we can check on people who may not have heat, who don't have wood stoves, or once they lose power, they lose heat, and we can get them to a place that's warm and get them safe, whether that shelter's in Brattleboro or Potash Hill. Either way, I mean, if we can't get to the top of the hill, then I guess we're going to Brattleboro, but at least we get to check on the people who may not have heat in the town. I'm a city kid. I'm from Boston.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, you know.
like you can't tell. You know, and when I first came out here, I'm like, oh my God, everybody has a wood stove. So, you know, I'm under that impression to begin with. I mean, Marlboro, my experience has been pretty self-reliant. You know, you guys just hunker down, wait it out, and then we start. So, but I did learn that some people don't have heat in their homes.
If I could just ask Jay, is possibly, it's great that Potash has kind of said, oh, if you need us, we'll be there. It'd be nice though to have it some kind of concrete
In our plan.
in the plan, you know, just, and if that means that the Red Cross and Potash have to come up with their agreement, then so be it. But I think it would be helpful. So we have the warming center for kind of the, you know, quick spark, and then we have this other plan if it's a multi-day event.
Right.
And having assurances from them is great, and you know the guy better than I do, but I'd love to have something written down.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what we
it's.
want. of understanding come in.
Yeah. It would be a memorandum of understanding. I can
Okay.
set that up with Dan. That's not a big problem.
Thank you. I
But-
just,
With the Red Cross, that's how you get the beds and that's how you get a lot of, the necessities that are there, the beds, the blankets, food, stuff like that to keep the shelter running. And you'll have
Um,
people running the shelter.
yeah, let me know how I can help you with that, and
Sure.
if I need to get the select board involved.
I mean, mostly it's the Red Cross, but,
Okay.
and they're just challenging to get a hold of. This is a group of volunteers and they're not always, they don't always return phone calls, and it took me about 12 phone calls before I finally got someone to call me. So,
I'll send you an email of a couple of people who, when we had that fire, that, person unfortunately passed away, they were like all, God will help you do all that, this, so I'll send you those people's names, maybe they're a little more responsive.
yeah, they probably that's probably the team that comes out of either Brattleboro or I believe
I think it was
how did-
Keene. He was out
Keene.
of New
They could have
Hampshire.
come out of Keene.
Anything else?
That's it. I'm about to submit it through Web EOC, submit the LEMP for review to Alyssa Sabato at the regional commission. I'm just gonna ask for the select board's chairs okay, and then I'm just gonna hit submit.
Yep.
If he's okay, huh?
Yeah, he caught that.
I would like to just,
Well, Marcia has one more comment.
I just have the firehouse is really not accessible. I know it was one of the list of places to go, but it's a good EOC command center, but not a good shelter for the public.
I wouldn't want it's a great EOC. I wouldn't want to use it. I just know it's listed. I wouldn't want to use it as, I would rather have it as an EOC.
Well,
You
we-
really don't
we
want
are.
people in there, fooling around while you're trying to manage a disaster. So,
Can't go play with the hoses? Jim, we want to give him an official stamp of approval?
Go ahead.
thank you, Jim.
Nope.
But what are we approving?
That he can go ahead and
You
submit
go ahead and
this.
submit this.
I just submitted to the state for review.
Okay,
This is-
yeah, definitely have my blessing.
And if you post something on the website, maybe phone numbers can be blocked out or something and not generally for the world.
I'll make sure that happens.
I see this needs a lot more discussion and we're gonna have lots of meetings about this.
The warming center, definitely, yeah.
So,
Yeah, Nick, you know how to get a hold of me. Either get a hold of me and you can call my office if you have to, call my cell phone if you have to. We'll work through this. I'll get a hold of Tiger and we'll see if we can get some,
Yeah.
stuff.
Send me once they've completed their review, send it to me so I can post it and black out all the phone numbers.
Okay.
Or just put white tape on it or something.
Yeah, no, that's what I would do, print it out and just white it out.
It's coming, the state has moved to a new electronic system. So I can download that PDF, what it looks like for the state's view, and then I'll just send that to you.
Great, that's fabulous, thank you.
Okay? And you can black out whatever you need to black out.
Okay. Anything else for Jay?
No,
No.
no.
I do want to thank you guys for coming. I think if we work together, we can make this all happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
very excited.
If we can pull off a tabletop, they definitely need to be involved in that as well.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll tie them up and drag them in if needed.
Okay.
I'll take care of that, Marcia, thank you.
Thank you all.
Tell Gail if she wants to talk to reach out.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so
What's a tabletop?
It's an exercise. So what we'll do is we'll make up a scenario. We'll say like what we just experienced with the last storm. We're saying this storm has happened. And this is what's going to go on. There are all kinds of different exercises. This is just probably the easiest one to do, where we discuss what's going on. This is what's going to happen. Okay, this road's closed, these power lines are down, we can't get to these people. They just did a very large one called Frosty something. VEM did a very, very big one called Frosty. I have it if you wanna,
Do
if
the
you want.
alien one, I wanna do the alien one.
I can design an alien one. They do have, FEMA does have aliens. Aliens,
Probably
zombies,
floods
mutants,
or ice storms, what we're gonna have to deal with.
but ice storms are probably what we'll really have to work with.
Yeah,
Storms, snowstorms and floods.
yeah.
I did do zombies in Beverly, Mass once.
Ooh, zombies.
But
Perfect place for them.
but that's part of why I want to get Tiger involved, get Tiger up here, and she'll explain a little bit better than I can over a Zoom. We can sit down and we can say, okay, this is what we want to do. And let's practice this. And that's basically what a tabletop will do is have us practice a disaster so we can be prepared better.
And just to finish off, I will email you guys tomorrow the links for registering for training, and then I should by then know when it's gonna be. The problem with it being the 11th is we also have a select board meeting on the 11th, so it could be a long day, but we'll try and figure something out.
Okay. Just
Jesse,
let me know where you are with your training, and again, go to the FEMA, if you can Google FEMA training. And just go to the drop down menu. There's all the training, all the stuff that the feds do, all the stuff that the state does is right there.
Yeah, I'll send you that link also. I did it last night.
Okay.
Great, Jay, thank you. You're more than welcome to stay or go, up to you.
Nope, I have another conference call with the hospital. So
Okay, Andrew, do you want to talk, or do you want to let Jesse do his little spiel and then we can, it's up to you.
Yeah, we can, since Jesse's here.
Okay.
I wait.
I invited Jesse, to kind of go through his experience with National Grid.
Hello,
Jesse.
Molly.
Oh, this is Jesse Kreitzer, Molly Wells, Jim Agate, Jeff Springstad, Andrew.
I drive by your house once a day in various pickups to go feed my 34-year-old horse up at Mike Purcell's.
Oh,
And I watch you working all the time.
I feel that way.
Just before Jesse talks, I'll give you a quick update. Bob's on vacation. I think he's due back today, but I'll be talking to him next week. That's the lawyer, Bob Fisher. We've gotten a proposal from National Grid for 2 extensions, 2 amendments, 2 5-year amendments with money. I sent it to you guys. And then they also wanted a 10-year extension overall of the contract with 5-year segments. They seem to think that they've done all the maintenance work they're supposed to. I just got pictures from Mike Purcell with, showing this wasn't done, that wasn't done. Nancy has volunteered Bob potentially to help us take a look and see what hasn't been done or what has been done. And in speaking with Jesse, I think this funnels through Bob. I think it's probably advantageous, maybe to one of you guys be the point person. You know, whoever it is, and me go down to Bob's office and do the negotiation process. I think we should tie rate increases to the CPI. Which would mean a 20% increase from 2018.
CTI, that's.
CPI, Consumer Price Index.
Okay.
It, on some years it'll help, some years it won't be as much, but it
Generally goes up.
and well, it always goes up, but it's also generally what people do with these type of lease agreements. And with that, I'll let Jesse talk about how he negotiated with them.
Hey folks. Yeah, this was the first task that was delegated to me when I was in my first year on the select board as a member. Ty Gibbons was chair at the time. So this was, yeah, my first sort of task as a newly elected member of the board. So I knew nothing about, anything that I was doing. We did not involve an attorney. Paul Gillies represented the town at the time. I don't ever remember consulting with Paul. It was a pretty easy process. And I think we just tied it in with the rate of inflation based on the previous lease. There was like maybe a 20% increase in inflation. And so that's sort of, we arrived at the figure, and that was that. At this point, I feel like the real estate landscape has evolved. Also the values just in Marlboro, Windham County alone have changed drastically, post-COVID especially. So my advice is to not listen to really anything I have to say. I would delegate one member of the select board and consult with your attorney, and they will advise you. I think at best, they might suggest getting an assessor. But again, I leave that to the council. So yeah, it feels sort of dated, my experience with them. They were agreeable to the terms. We arrived at the figure, and that was that. And I just feel like I would do a little bit more diligence here, considering how things have changed so dramatically post-COVID. So that's really all I have to add. Happy to.
So they weren't big bad people.
No, well, I don't know if you want to, no, not in our experience at all. I think I think there's a number, and it's what's fair. I don't think you should be looking to, price gouge or try to get the upper hand here. I think just look at get the land assessed. I also would involve, I guess, is it Mike and is it HPC?
Yeah, it's Mike and the
Mike,
HPC.
So it might be beneficial to involve them.
Well, as I said, it's their big hang up, and Nancy, Bob, if I'm talking out of school, let me know, is that there was agreements to do a lot of stuff, including
A gate.
right at, I can't remember the guy,
Water bars.
the property line. And
And
they're
what's
saying,
the
well,
other
we
guy? What's his
maintain,
name?
they're saying, well, we maintain the road, but they did,
there's no gate and
there
there's no
just, there hasn't been, they have not been great at living up to, and that's just something I think that we can hard nose negotiate with them. As in all the negotiations I've ever been in, and I was advised by a sales guy who I got my training from, he said, the first one to mention money loses, they mention money
I'm
already.
surprised at that.
So, I think we know what they want to pay, which means that they probably willing to pay a little bit more. But I think we need to push on this other issue that's so important to the hogback. Is that, they having washed out roads and stuff, it's not good. So.
And then enforcement, I imagine, becomes an issue, but that's where Mike and HBC can come in and make sure that their portion of the bargain is.
Well, that's the thing, is if you say they designate one person, the HPC designate one person, they go out and say, okay, you gotta do it. That's not good enough, and.
Something, Mike said something about they took some machines up there when it was wet and did more damage, and so Mike will tell us.
That's, Mike gotten
there's a lot of,
photos, I'm gonna get him into the meeting also,
He
and.
fixed some of the roads, and then when next time he went, there were big gouges in it and stuff.
On the positive side, the woman we're dealing with is the same woman who's been there since the beginning. She's the lead counsel and stuff like that, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I don't know how much
No,
help I
it's
can be,
not.
except you're doing the right thing and work through your counsel, and I don't remember it even taking that long either. I think Bob. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob, what's up? Unmute. Well, actually, it's Nancy. It's
No,
it's-
yeah, no, it's, Jesse did a great job in setting up the contract that we've been living with for the last several years. But the grid folks, the National Grid folks have fallen way short on anything to do with the road itself. I've walked up there a number of times. I haven't been up there this year, but they just didn't do anything at all that I could see. I recognize that it's more a mountain trail than a road, but there are still some remediation things that could be done. There's several wet spots that are almost habitually wet. And wouldn't take much to fix them, but it would take a concentrated effort to take care of them. And get the, because it's a little embarrassing to have this conservation area that is otherwise pristine, and then have these muddy ruts through there. So
Bob,
want to
anything
point that out.
Bob, anything you can write down and send to me that then I can arm Bob Fisher, the lawyer, with would be great.
Sure, I can do that. I'll take a hike up there this week. Well, it's supposed to rain for the next week or so,
Yeah,
but
no, I know, it's spring in Vermont, you know.
yeah. So I will do that soon as.
Thank you, that'd be a huge help.
Yeah.
Also, if take your phone, any photos would be helpful as well.
Yes, yeah.
Great. Any other comments by anybody?
Well, when is that meeting gonna happen?
I'm gonna be talking to Bob on Monday, and I'll be in touch with you guys and let you know what, and then, I mean, if you want to designate one person who I can be my focal point, that'd be great.
I think I already said I would do that.
Okay, so I'll
Send the New Yorker.
say, well, 2 New Yorkers and a Vermont lawyer, they're dead. Okay,
Thank you.
Jesse,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you, I appreciate it.
Good luck. Thanks for your
Nice to meet you.
service. Likewise, yeah.
See you next time. I'll honk the horn.
Oh, what's that?
Before Andrew
See.
does his thing, he has this document for you guys to sign. It just certifies that we
folks.
are acknowledging the standards of what the road should be, and that everything's been done appropriately, and all the contiguous water connected doohickeys are.
Should we do it in order of? our-
Yeah, so you go
jobs?
in the middle. And what I would do is sign it, and then in parentheses, print your name. And your title. I learned way back when, is that if you're signing an official document, sign it, comma, title, that way it's,
Am I the vice chair or vice chairman?
you're the vice chair, we're a non-sexual organization. By the way, Andrea, how you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm here.
And you didn't, she should be my assistant, wasn't this guy?
Who?
Your daughter, who you
Oh,
handed
oh.
over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Andrew,
just
go ahead.
wanted to say thank you as always, Andrew, for all the work you've been doing. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, the first thing we'll do is Sheer Hill Road. The town of Wilmington is going through the process of reclassifying that road from a class 3 to a class 2, their end of it. Marshall talked to me a few weeks ago. I guess all he needs is your guys' approval to allow them to reclassify their road. I don't know why they need our approval.
Because we have a section of the road.
What's that?
Because we have a section of the road.
Right.
Square Hill goes through a little bit of Marlboro and
Right, Marlboro and the Halifax,
Halifax.
right. I don't know if you guys don't approve of it, I don't know what that does to him. Reclassifying his road, I've talked to the state and they have no idea, or I talked to the District 1 guy, Patrick, he has no idea why.
Can you
They
ask
need
them
our
to
stuff
send
too.
me an email that asks for permission, and then I'll get them to sign it and send it back to them?
Sure, I can do that.
yeah, because the only thing I could think of would be that the people who live in the Marlboro and Halifax sections of Sharer Hill might want to be able to still get to Wilmington.
Well, I don't think there'll be the way I understand is I don't think there'll be like an increase in traffic or anything like that, or a decrease.
Decrease, let's see, class 2.
Class 2's higher.
Better.
Oh, higher.
It's better
I
than a
see,
class
I see, I
3.
see.
Are they gonna
Essentially
change the
what,
speed?
I don't know, no idea.
So I think what we should be prepared to do then is make sure we get a
Town line speed.
town line speed limit.
Okay.
Just, I mean, just so if they're going 50 on the paved road and then we run into the same problem we have
Right.
here, where people end up speeding.
Yeah, so I think ultimately the goal is, Wilmington's end of Sheer Hill it's a habitual, terrible muddy spot, so I
Yeah.
think eventually they're gonna
They're
pave
gonna
their
pave
end.
it.
But in order to get more money, you get more money for a class 2 versus a class 3,
Okay.
so that's why they're trying to
Well, I don't
reclassify it.
have any problem with it. Be nice to
Uh,
get something in writing, though.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions that they want me to relay to Marshall so he can put it in his proposal letter for you guys to sign, or he can answer those
You wanna
questions?
say an opinion about it?
Well, I'm not really familiar with that road, so I can't really give any honest opinion.
What kind of shape is our end of, or portion of Share Road in?
As good as can be expected. It's no better, no worse than any other of the road in Marlboro.
Okay.
That typically doesn't get very muddy, like, if that's what you're
That's
asking.
what I'm asking.
It's
is we
not
typically-
terrible.
I mean, is it like North Pond Road
No,
or parts of Ames Hill or?
No.
Even Town Hill Road? This year was a good year, but last year was not.
Last year was
Yeah.
not.
Last year, not a good year anywhere.
So
no, it's,
Get to Share Hill to maintain that little bit of road.
so you
Down
go out
Lost
Butter,
Hollow?
no, you go out Butterfield, you can, but it's,
Okay,
go
Butterfield. and
out
then-
Butterfield to Grant Road,
and then-
and then Grant Road comes to Sheer Hill.
You're not
Okay.
using the Blackhawks to bring the trucks in?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, and then, job
Any
search.
other questions? Now you want me to ask Marshall? Speed limit sign
Just
concern?
asking for permission to
Okay,
whatever he's asking for.
Yeah, just,
all right,
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to email you, and then you can give it whatever, I don't
Okay.
know, however.
all right.
but we're inclined to, of course,
At this point, without any other
Issues.
issue,
yeah.
You want me to scan that and send it to you, or are you good with that as is?
I'll leave it with you, cause I don't know how to scan. I don't have a scanner anyways.
Okay,
at the
I'll
shop.
scan it and
Okay.
email it to you. Do I need to sign it as duly authorized administrator?
Sure, no idea.
well, the last couple of meetings, we didn't see you,
I know, I forgot about the last.
so is
It
it
was
the
swimming
applicant
in
have
the
anything to do?
No.
How did
no.
that turn out?
I guess the insurance company
Um,
is settling.
Yeah,
I guess.
So we,
we gave
we
them
were
permission to
told-
settle. They have not reached out to me at all, so I'm assuming they're doing
I
whatever.
just want to make sure there's no mark on his license or any increase.
There
in
was
insurance.
no police report.
Right,
And the insurance company didn't seem to, I mean, I mean, it's a 1991 Jeep. I mean, if the repairs are over $3,000, they're gonna total the damn thing. I mean, so, but I haven't heard anything, and
both vehicles were able to drive away from the accident.
Yeah.
So should we sue them
No,
I'd let it go.
for child abuse and public, public
that,
safety?
the whole thing was the insurance company just wanted to get rid of it.
Okay,
It was, they could have said, oh, well, he shouldn't have been driving, it's just,
he shouldn't have been driving.
yeah, but they just wanted to get rid of it. They just,
Okay.
minor.
a couple other issues that, because we haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Well, he does have the job search issue.
Yeah, okay, we want to do that first?
Up to you.
Go
It's
for it.
your world. I'm just living in it. All right, the replacement member job search. I gave you all cover letter and resume from Joe Sommer. He lives in Whitingham, Vermont. He owns his own trucking business and has been in that business. I can't remember how long in his resume, but a long time.
9+ years.
Yeah. This is the guy I want to hire to replace Adam. I have talked to, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different people from different areas from around us, and not one person has had a stitch of negative to say about him or his family. Everyone said that him and his whole family are extremely hardworking people. They're nice people, they're genuine. He's got a lot of experience in mechanic work too.
Which we like.
Yep, Carl from Twin State told me that. Because he works on his own trucks in his business, he's very good at. If he's in a bind, getting it going so he can get it back to the shop or get it through a storm or whatever it needs to be, and that's right in our wheelhouse there. Yeah, I met with him yesterday. He came to the shop. I just did a really informal interview type deal, told him about the job, the benefits, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
He seems really excited.
We're gonna have to put this out though.
It's already been
It's
put
out.
out.
It's already been out. It's been out for 2 weeks.
And this is the one, the only one, right?
Only one.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah. yeah,
and you like them, that's great.
I really like him. I'm hoping you guys will let me hire him. If he is hired, I'd like to give him 21 an hour. It gives a little buffer between him and Leon. Anything less than that, I don't think he's gonna bite. He's got plenty of driving experience, plenty of mechanical experience. And went to school for, I don't know,
He's a Honda
yeah, or
certified.
something like that, yeah. So yeah,
Well,
that's where we're at.
we'll have to set up an interview.
So do you wanna? Do all of you wanna interview, or do you wanna designate one person to do it? Because I'd like to expedite this so that I can give him notice and say. Cause he's already told me that he's gonna need 2 to 3 weeks before he can start, so he can. Work on trying to sell his equipment for his business and everything else. He's selling his whole business, so. I'd like to.
I would be comfortable, you know, Andrew's running the crew, I said, Andrew, hire the guy.
I'm good with that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind
And
meeting.
we only have one guy. I mean,
There are a
sound
couple
like-
other people who are interested, but they haven't got their stuff in yet.
okay.
I gave those couple other people a deadline of today by 3 o'clock today, because I wanted to be able to, if I had more people, I wanted to be able to look at their stuff ahead of time and bring them to you, and they did not meet that deadline. So as far as I'm concerned, they didn't meet a
They're not
deadline, so.
interested yet.
Yeah, what Andrew and I discussed the other day, in the ad, we put, application deadline April 30th, which is Sunday.
Yeah.
If you guys approve, Andrew can say to Jeff, what's his name?
Joe,
Joe,
Joe.
can say to Joe, just gotta, you're there, I just gotta wait till the 30th to see if anybody else applies. And then I'll let you know on Monday for sure. That covers us with EOE.
Probably need to do a formal interview. You
Me?
didn't do a formal interview with him today, or with?
Well, he did,
Joe?
he did one.
You did, I thought I heard you say it was just kind of.
It was an informal interview. I don't really know what a.
Difference is, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I think. Ultimately, it's up to you guys. I don't know if we need a formal interview at this point, but like I said, it's up to you guys.
did you,
We spent a lot of hours interviewing at your stall and.
Yeah.
And I think
Right.
Leon's the only one that is the original.
I mean, the only thing,
I don't see any references.
Oh, okay. He said he forgot to add his references there on his resume. His wife was helping him with it. He
Mhm.
said if we need them, he'll send them to me.
Okay, that would probably
I
be
told
just
him
a
that.
good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, if he wants to. If we want to just meet the guy. He can zoom in.
well, then we have to call a special meeting.
No,
Oh,
let's, my recommendation is that we go ahead and let Andrew
Okay.
do this process. We have to make sure that we're staying on top of the fact that we have a deadline of April 30th before we cut off and don't take any more applications. Okay, just because that's what we said. And I think that there's issues that people could come back and say, but you said we can apply till. And as of how much time did you give the people that were supposed to respond by 3 today? How long ago did you tell them they had a deadline?
Tuesday.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I spoke with Andrew, I've been speaking with Andrew, and it's, I think the way we did it, I got 3 responses to Indeed. One was from Swansea, which is outside of our area, another was from Keene, and then one was from South Carolina.
It's too cold for that guy.
Yeah, we had 2 display ads at the Commons, we had 2 days of ads in the Reformer. I think we've done, I think if anyone tried to bring in EOE, I think there's just no,
It's a no-brainer.
there's no issue.
Just as long as we wait till the 30th.
I mean, he can
Theoretically.
He can tell Joe you're there, but I can't officially notify you until Monday. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And I agree with you is that you guys hired Andrew to run the road crew, right? This is an opportunity for him to run the road crew.
When I ran my crew, I would have been really upset if I didn't get to pick people out.
Yeah,
No, we definitely take everything you say. I mean, you're gonna,
I think you guys will really like him. He seems like a really nice guy too, when I was talking.
what
to him.
happened with Andrew? Do you have exit interviews?
Adam?
Adam, I mean.
I-
Andrew, I mean,
I didn't have an exit interview when I left here first time. I don't know as if Stacy had one. I don't know.
Stacy didn't have one, trust me.
Okay.
So what is the
Um,
reason he got done?
He is telling me that, he's telling me conflicting stuff. He told me that he's getting more money and better benefits with Brattleboro. But then he told the guys that he's actually getting less money, so I don't really know, but that's what he told me,
Okay.
so.
That reminds me, we talked today at your house about evaluations.
Yes.
And Andrew has evaluated everybody and they have, according to a system that you worked out with.
Yeah, we
Linda
basically,
And Lauren.
Linda, Andrea, and Rebecca,
Mhm.
we basically, I pulled a generic employee evaluation form off the internet. Printed it out, wrote some of my ideas to add or take out. They did the same thing. And we kind of generated a new form for
They've done a
us.
lot of work.
Yeah, if you want, if just on a exit interview, I am gonna be sitting down with Adam, he's gotta sign a couple of documents. If you, I can. You tell me a time when you wanna do that, if you wanna be here when but I will ask him those same questions, so why are you leaving? Don't like us anymore? I mean, I'll just,
Well,
If you're gonna do an exit interview, he might be leaving because of me, so it might be beneficial if you wanted to get like accurate information if I wasn't there also, but.
it's
up
not,
to
I
you.
mean, I'm not gonna phrase it to him as an interview, I'm gonna
Right.
say, listen, I need you to sign the email thing, and I need you to sign your life insurance thing. And then I'll just ask him, said, so what, I thought everything was good, and I'll let you know what he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Andrew's taking responsibility for evaluating the crew, but we need to evaluate Andrew. 'cause
Yes,
it's 6 months coming up. And I don't know if anybody has any ideas about how to do that.
Done a lot of them.
Well, we
You've
could,
done a lot of them,
we could take your copy. And then.
Not a road crew, but I've done a lot of
job
job
evaluations.
evaluations.
If you
Yes.
want that form that we all made,
That'll give us a place to start, definitely.
okay,
Well, maybe.
I forgot to-
What I would suggest maybe is on the May 25th meeting, we have an executive session where you guys can
Look over,
discuss your evaluation, and then have one of you go present it to him. I don't think it needs to be presented to him in an open forum.
no. First you
nor
have to
should it
figure
be.
out-
Huh?
Nor should it.
No, I think that's. I mean, we could do it in an executive session, but you could also just, one person go over to the garage and say, hey, this is what's going on.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have
Not a
anything else
chance.
on the road?
I don't on the road, but a couple of questions since I haven't seen you, Andrew, how was that, didn't you have problems with the siding, inside of your building there?
the mold mitigation.
We're working it.
Okay,
Nick's still working on it with the adjusters.
I'm submitting a claim to our insurance company, and they'll send someone out and see if we can get money for it. If not, then we'll have to go with the other stuff.
so, you definitely need some different ventilation in there.
I don't really know at this point, because that's what I thought, but other people have told me differently. The people that I've gotten quotes from so far have told me that there's plenty of ventilation in that building, considering how many times a day, all year round, those big doors are out open and shut.
So is there a leak in the roof?
They think there's one leak in the back. Gable end of the house by the exhaust fan. This other guy, Joe Saladino, who came and gave me a informal quote, told me that he thinks there's moisture barrier in between the wall and the insulation, and he thinks that could be contributing to holding moisture in the building. So those are all,
If that's the case, we rip out everything
yeah,
and insulate it.
that's what this Joe guy said he would do.
Mhm.
Well, I will tell you.
How
we
he
have
would
a-
tackle
we
it.
have a
But
$1
is
million
he an
dollar-
adjuster?
we have a-
No,
we have
that's
another-
why we haven't followed up with them, because if the adjuster says, hey, we're gonna give you money for it, then I guess they're gonna deal with their own people.
We'll have, we have $1 million policy, so we'll see what happens.
Okay,
Okay, then,
you always knock it down and build a new one.
Well, we could do that with the energy, with the MERP money.
$4,000.
$500,000.
Oh, it should be able to knock that down with some bunk beds.
Oh, so we never have to go, we'd never go home.
You
We
could
just
stay
sleep
over
right
it
there.
every morning.
Um,
I felt so bad about Robbie and somebody else taking a nap for an hour
Yeah,
in those ugly, disgusting chairs you have in there.
I offered to have all of them come to my house
Mm.
and sleep for a couple hours, and they just said,
Jim, this is the Wyndham County Humane Society contract, same contract as every year. It's a little bit more money this year because we have a bigger population because of the census. But it's there, it's the same impoundment fee is $30 and I just need your John Hancock on there. I could probably have signed it, but I figured I'd let you guys sign it.
Don't forget to put your title so you're not signing it.
Already there.
Okay,
Just
good.
quick on the ACO.
am I good?
You're
You're
good.
good? Okay, awesome, thank you.
Thankfully, Peggy Tiffany has given us a little bit more notice than she gave us last year. She is going away in June for, I think, 10 days, 10 days, 14 days. It's not as long as it
There are
was.
2 trips.
Yeah, there's one weekend trip.
Okay.
And then,
There's
and
been-
just to let you know, Jim, that when the ACO is away, the select board chair becomes the acting
There's been
ACO.
communication on our Facebook.
But would you like to invite Clarence?
Oh, the road.
That's, I mean, that's,
Yeah, I shouldn't ask you.
I'm bringing it up to you guys.
if I have to go anywhere, I'll be, Clarence.
And then assume
Yeah.
I don't
the other
know.
part.
I don't know where
You
it's up to.
could get a call
Somebody
and
thinks
then
Yes.
you could call him.
Okay.
Or we could officially
Thank you.
ask you to take it over and then give our number.
Works for me, thank you.
You guys can decide, if you want to think about it for a couple of weeks and I'll put it back on the agenda for next, how you want to handle it.
I know he's a pain in the butt, but he did ACO.
Does he want
12
to do it?
years.
That's the question.
Well, I'm not gonna ask him. It would have to be coming from.
No, I understand
He
that.
would do it.
but- Okay.
He hates the idea of paying Wyndham County Sheriff $225 an hour.
180, yeah, okay.
180 to come and look for dogs.
Yeah. Now look for a bear.
Yeah, we got plenty of those already.
Do you guys want to decide now, or do you want to think about it for and I can write a request to Clarence.
I have no problems at all about writing a request and asking Clarence if he would cover the animal control while Peggy is.
Can I get a motion?
Leave. I make a motion that we request Clarence Boston to act as the animal control officer during Peggy Tiffany's trip away.
I second. Any discussion? Motion carries. No, I'll say. So it, all in
Any
favor,
votes?
say aye.
Aye.
Now pick up the phone and call
Next time you should recruit yourself.
Should I
Yeah.
send him a letter or should I call
him. Call him. 254-3344.
him? I'm not gonna do it now. I'll call you and you can hand him your. phone.
Okay.
Okay, we're getting there. I'm trying to get us out of here by 7:30. Linda requests that you guys approve, sign that. What it is it's a request for a
Yes.
line of credit. We owe the school a shitload of money.
I thought that they owe us money,
No, we owe them money.
because we gave them,
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So far.
Well, what it is, in other words, the school budget comes out of it's not
Out of
in
the
our
general
budget,
fund.
it comes out of the tax revenue. And we don't have the tax revenue yet, so she needs a line of credit. And she requested that we get this letter signed so that the bank will give her a line of credit. I mean, there's no issue in them giving her the line of credit, it's just they need an official notification. I was going to try and do the HPC appointments, but they didn't send me their names, so
Okay, so that's.
that is
tabled.
tabled. Okay, in your packet,
I thought they were beautiful.
well, I already posted the one on the
Well
recycling, so that's done. Then
It's on the back of your agenda.
it's on the back of the agenda on your page. This is
Yeah.
my attempt at trying to make this sound good and, I had to talk to Lauren today and there's still a lot of angst over this, but I emailed it to you. I didn't get any negative. I just wanted to get a firm positive from you guys, so then I will post this. My plan is to post it on Front Porch Forum, Facebook, the website, and then like repost it every couple of 3 weeks until we get closer to it, and then, make a big deal out of it.
This is good.
yeah.
Okay. The next thing was the Franklin Land Trust.
Will Steve and John moderate for us?
For the select board meeting.
Yeah,
I'm sure it would.
I think if you
Um,
ask him, he probably will.
he did it for us last time when we were.
Well, that was like an official thing, I don't know, I'm sure he will, but. What I would do is as we get, one of you maybe ask him.
Does he spell his name with a V or a PH? Do you know?
V. Okay. Franklin Land Trust is running their yearly bike race. They'll come through town.
Yeah,
It's August 19th. Just wanted to let you guys know, they're very good corporate citizens. They pick up after themselves. All the little stakes in the ground and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of it.
How could they possibly ride that far? It's
Huh?
crazy the ride they're doing,
I don't know how long is it?
100 miles or
That's
something.
nothing. That's nothing.
Nashville, Charlemont, Coleraine, Conway, Deerfield, Goshen, forget it.
I sent you guys, I gave you guys a copy of this. Just if you wanted to attend. I don't know if you want me to attend, I don't know, I mean,
Attend what?
the Southern Vermont Economic Summer Forging
Oh,
Our
right,
Future on May 23rd. I'm more than happy to go.
Oh, we go to the Hermitage Club. They
Um,
feed you?
and there's, 15 sessions, it's a thing, I'm more than happy to go. Well, if you want me to, or if you guys want to, you just go to the register and go, it's totally up to you. I don't need to do anything. Do you want me to go?
Boy, they are really working hard up there.
Do you want me to go?
I would like to have Nick attend
Okay.
and or anybody else. that
Well,
wants to
anybody else,
attend.
I mean, there's
Um,
15 sessions, so I won't be able to go to everything. So if there's more than one person, then, we can decide.
Yeah, I'm interested.
All right, let's talk. We'll figure it out. At Jim's request. I got a pretty firm quote lighted speed signs. It's about $6,500 all done and dusted for 2 signs. The simplest, no messages, yellow,
Battery or solar?
pretty much the same, whether it's a battery or solar. I'm waiting for a further quote on that. I did ask them to clarify that, but it's $500 a year maintenance, contract. And you guys have to, I mean, I know it's not in the budget this year, but it's, either you can decide to put it in the budget next year or what, I don't know, but that's that cost.
Is there any research on the effectiveness of them?
I've heard no, there is none. I mean, it really doesn't do much,
Well,
but
we kind of did this to, in reference to speeding in certain places.
Yeah, traffic calming and stuff like that.
So, maybe 5 people out of 10 would pay attention to it, especially if they're neighbors on that road.
Mhm.
And they'd be happy that we acted. We heard them and we acted.
And, okay.
It's better than some of the other ideas we had about 1-lane road.
Yeah,
So,
someone's gotta talk to Linda then and find out if there's any money to do this.
well, she's looking for money already.
That's a whole different,
Okay.
that's a whole different sum.
I'll talk to Linda.
Okay, I just, it's,
This is for 2,500.
and that's, I mean,
Can we find out if there's any research? Like who would have,
Well,
the police?
I would think the highway,
I'll call
patrol-
Colin, I'll call Colin again and have him come to the meeting.
I would think that the highway patrol would have some indication
Yeah.
and or Marlboro Police Department or somebody that,
Well, the
Deals
Marlboro
with
Police
traffic.
Department.
not Marlboro, Brattleboro,
Oh,
my mistake.
well, with
Um,
the sheriff's department.
the Marlboro Police Department says they don't work and we shouldn't waste our money,
Who said that?
Clarence.
So, but I think that there's gotta be information out there because this is not a new thing.
Right.
They've been around,
Grover has them.
they're using, they're
Andrew
being
said.
used, there's gotta be conflicting information if everybody's saying no, but people are still doing it.
Yeah.
So if everybody says they're not effective. and
I
towns
see
are
them
with,
everywhere.
then-
I pay
Okay,
attention
I'm
to-
gonna call Colin Bratton, he's the WRC traffic guy, and
Okay.
say specifically, we wanna know,
Effectiveness
if we're gonna spend $6,500
plus 500 a year.
plus 500 a year. Which I think we definitely have to spend, because, I mean, it's all computerized, that, it's not something that Andrew can take care of.
Right.
What is the statistics
Yeah,
on,
what are the pros and cons?
what are the, and he's very good about coming up and doing a presentation and stuff.
Cool.
Then it also at Jim's request, I gave you this.
Yep.
And these are signs from the same sign company who did the no idling signs here. They have specific security, under the thing, 18 by 18 to me seems very small.
Where is
They-
that on the front?
Yeah, by foot and a half.
There it is.
Okay,
And they have different types.
Are we
the,
talking
you know,
about recycling?
yeah.
This
that's
is up at the
recycling.
Yeah,
recycling.
but that's good side for that.
And then they also have 24 by 30 custom. We can do a custom sign, so we
Can
can,
we get them mounted on like rim?
on who?
So-
Rims?
So we can move them out of the way when they take the,
Well, that's the big problem, and this is what Andrew said, is we have a big freaking sign up there. That's, no dumping and all that sort of stuff. And it was a problem because they couldn't get the containers. So we have to figure that out. The cost is minimal. I mean, we could get 2 of the custom made ones for $250
Mhm.
and use the same pole that you use for a speeding sign. We just have to figure out do you put it in front of the access gate? you know.
So that it's out of the way for the machines.
Well, no, but out right as you
On the
turn
road.
as you turn into the highway depot. You have a big sign, area under surveillance, whether it is or not, who cares? And then and then recycling, no dumping, blah, 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 blah. The
Okay.
other,
No, go ahead.
the other option, and I haven't been able to find it, is we can find magnetic ones
Ah,
that you could stick onto the container.
and then they
And
get
then, no,
whisked
no,
away.
and then when Andrew calls, when they call to get them picked up, they take it off. I mean,
Plus,
yeah.
a lot of people come in the back way.
well, we could have a sign we could have one of these posted in the back.
Yeah.
Well, I
and one
think
of
that
these posted in the
if we
front.
put something in between the two dumpsters,
You're gonna have to move it because like,
yeah, but-
sometimes you go up there and the dumpsters are this far apart. Sometimes they're that far apart. The trucking company is just gonna knock it over just because they just.
no, it's not gonna, well, I'm thinking of like having
On a steel rim,
a rim,
tire rim,
right,
a pole welded to a rim,
right.
so you can roll it and move it without having it permanently.
Okay, the trucking guy's not gonna do it.
Yeah,
We understand that, but if he knocks it over, we can stand it back up.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, I'll order
I'm just
whatever you
listening-
wanna order. I mean,
Listen, going along or adding to what Jim's saying about having it on a rim so that it's movable. And if they happen to knock it over, it's not the end of the world, we stand it back up. That's the advantage of having it on the rim.
yeah.
The advantage of having it at the gates, then we don't have to move, we don't have to worry about it.
but then it might be in the way of the yard.
Well, it'd be off to the side of the driveway. It wouldn't be, so it would be facing people coming in from the road would see it and the crew would say, yeah, we don't want it there. You move it over here, it's okay. Because they have to use that driveway all the time. And so we want to make sure that it meets their needs and doesn't get in their way.
what we do is put it right where the fence starts or ends. I mean, that's a permanent spot there. That's, you can put the sign right there.
So if we did the two large ones and a small one, we'd have the smaller one closer to the dumpster on
On a stick.
a
pole,
stick
yeah.
or whatever, so that if it gets knocked over, it's not the end of the world. Because my thought would be, people they're gonna drive right past it and not see it, even if it's 4 feet by 4 feet. They're not gonna pay any attention to that. I don't know how much people are gonna pay attention to it if it's right there, because they don't pay attention to the sign that is there.
Mhm.
But then part of the problem is they did it this last time. There's two dumpsters up there and they both say paper only.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse my language, they fucked up.
Yeah, because it's got the one where you put the trash as paper, cardboard only, and it's, written on the chalk and also it's got a sticker on it that says that. But then the other one's also paper, cardboard. And it's like, okay, what do you expect
What are
our
we
people
supposed
to do?
yeah, what are we supposed to do about that?
I mean, I would hope that people are used to it enough to know that the paper's on the left and the mixed is on the right,
Yeah,
but I guarantee you we aren't all.
If I could make a suggestion. We're having the recycling meeting on the 13th.
Yep.
Yes,
I'll advise Andrew on the 11th. We want to discuss with him where we could put signs and how we could handle it. And then at the 13th, that could be part of the discussion, and then you guys can make a decision. I can order the sign, I can get these signs, the signs can be gotten, and I think it's like 5 days.
Well, the meeting on the 13th, now, are we going to also talk about other options about moving it,
getting rid of it.
getting rid of it? All of this
Fencing it.
is, but yeah, what makes sense? And again, we haven't gotten any feedback, so the information that I thought I heard was wrong about they're charging more if it's commingled or mixed, and they don't care, they
We
just pick
haven't
it up and
heard
take
back
it.
from them, have we? No.
Who pays the bill?
We do. Linda does.
Does the bill look different from month to month? Is it the same from month to month? or
I will
per
double
pickup?
check, but yes.
And do we pay by pickup or by month?
By pickup.
And so, yeah, I would just check, is it the same every pickup? Or are we being told it's trash, that they're charging more?
Let's not question every little thing we have to do, because we're never gonna get anything done.
Right, and I think that
It's not a big deal.
but we want to go into this meeting with the community.
Well, then we're gonna be like, instead of having 4 different opinions right now, we're gonna have 20 different opinions. I suggest that we put it on town ballot to keep the dumpsters or get rid of them. Let the town make the decision, because it's too expensive. As I was told,
We've already
Scheduled that.
scheduled a meeting
okay, but
with the town
we've
to
already,
get some feedback, and we could go in there and say, okay, we're having issues, and these are the issues, let's
right,
give us some
yeah, I
feedback.
think, yeah, I think we should be able to say
Um,
what the issues are. I mean, explain it if they don't know. And let's get it done.
okay,
I mean, we have these things that have been. Seems like we just spin our wheels.
and we knew that we were gonna spin our wheel a little bit on the recycle area because of the difference of how the town feels. The town, well, many of the people in the town love it. It's a cost to the town, but it's also an added cost in that now the road crews are doing the cleanup of it. And the town doesn't take into account that cost.
I would, if there was a shovel and a rake. As I go to dump my trash, if I see something, little stuff you could put in, but if it's like a pile of. I would,
Garbage.
But people don't do it, yeah, I mean, you may do it, but.
And a lot of us do that when we're there. If we see things, we pick it up and put it in there. If it's stuff, we take stuff home and throw it in our garbage if it's garbage. Just so it's not, but
Not
not
that
everybody.
150
does it.
pound kitty litter thing that's been there for 6 months.
I mean, and Ty, actually, in the spring, he goes and he cleans up the area behind it.
Okay. Cool.
Which is actually a wetland.
Yeah, it's a.
So we're polluting the wetlands, but, let me take this off now since Andrew's gone.
Somebody threw 8 tires on Higley Hill
That's-
before Random Day. Let's get rid of all our tires.
So, I mean, it's a $2,500 budget line item, but it's gonna be. I mean, you thought it was tough getting the Australian ballot through? By telling these people, but but we've done this before, is it used to be at the school. And then they moved it over here, and. I think one of the things that you guys can talk about at this meeting is. In order to properly maintain and control the area. We have to fence it off and have it open certain hours with someone there to control it. And that's an additional, I mean, this is just a suggestion.
Absolutely, I understand what you're saying, and I think I'm getting in line with Jim and things. We're going into this looking for suggestions. What does the town think? Then come September, if we want to put something on the ballot, we can then bring it up at those meetings to see if people want to put it on the ballot and make adjustments. This meeting is more to get information from people, see what they think about what we're doing or what's going on. And how do we address some of these issues that we're having? We certainly can list all the issues that we have. We have the wetland behind, we have people dumping garbage, we have people commingling, we have people crawling in and out of the dumpster, taking the recycling and selling it or whatever. We can list all of those things that are part of this reason that we're having this conversation. And the road crews having to clean up and all of those, we can make that list of all of those issues that go with this. Now, we're looking for suggestions on how to address and go forward with this. If we want to list a couple of potential options, moving it, getting rid of it, we can do that. But that's not the focus of this discussion, is to get feedback about what people would like to see and do. If that makes sense.
So when, that meeting's on Saturday, and when is that? I
The
can't.
13th,
13.
May 13th,
Our
2 to
next
4
meeting.
PM.
our next
Next
meeting
meeting
is
is the
the
11th.
11th, and then it's 2 days later. So that, at that 11th meeting, we should share some emails to get this list of what these different issues are that we've been hearing about and seeing. And then listing some of the potential things that have been discussed, and not presenting them as clear-cut plans, or these are just things that we have heard, these are the issues. Give
Yeah,
us,
I just think you have to present, I mean, who knows who's gonna come,
Right.
but I think it's just presenting and saying, listen, we love the idea of recycling. There are some issues, cost, littering, wetland destruction, and idiocy, and, people dumping bottles in the cardboard and cardboard in the bottles. And how do we, and we're looking for input from the town on possible ideas. And then this will be something that we're gonna be working on during the summer.
yep. I think that makes the most sense going into this meeting.
And, I set it up for 2 hours, but I mean, you can be done in an hour, it's, well, this is my problem, this is my problem, this is my problem, okay, great, we'll look in all those
Do
and.
we have
Well,
any big,
we're not looking to get more problems, we're looking for suggestions on how to
Yeah.
fix it.
do we have any of those big sticky sheets? That you use in classrooms?
What, you mean a whiteboard?
Not a
The
whiteboard, but
would
a
be good,
paper.
but paper sticky.
Who wants to call the school and see if they have?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
they're just so expensive, no one would ever.
I mean, what I'll do is let me talk to Linda, and because I can go to Staples with the credit card and get,
They cost like a
Get-
ridiculous.
they're like-
amount.
no,
No, not a
Sure, sure.
whiteboard. He's not talking about. he's
no, not a
talking about
whiteboard, the sticky
paper.
sheets, the paper sticky sheets.
Sticky sheets,
Yeah.
yeah. As I remember as a teacher. they
The
cost-
problem is
Oh.
the problem is though, we'll be in the community center, there's no place to stick the
Oh, there's no
sticky
place
sheets.
to stick the sticky sheets, so
Well,
we
you-
need a
you-
blackboard, a
You need
whiteboard.
one of those stands that the paper
Oh,
Just a-
right.
Just a big paper tablet that you just flip over and put it on an easel.
easel, right?
I
That's
think
what-
we have an easel in there,
Right.
I'll work that issue.
Okay.
I will.
We'll have to do that for all 4 of these meetings. Okay, are we done?
Yeah, because we already talked about the national. Grid
Ask
contract.
anybody if they have any questions. Anybody that
Kate, you've been very quiet, but you're not on the agenda, so you can't talk. Goodbye.
I have nothing to say. Thank you.
Yeah. We're just to let you know, after the 11th, I will be bringing a proposal to you on the $4,000 MERP.
Okay,
That's opened up, and it's a very simple online form that I just fill out,
and
and
the
they'll,
purpose for the energy people?
yeah,
or-
and they'll send us a check for $4,000.
And they'll use that to
And then
investigate.
This
possible-
this lovely lady will spend it. And what it is basically we spend it, and as we spend it every year, we just report what we spend on it.
And then we lead to the implementation stage.
No, then the assessment,
Okay,
which I talked to Margot Gia today, could be coming out in a couple of weeks.
mhm,
They're still figuring out whether you do 1 building or 2 buildings, blah, blah, blah. And then once the assessment is done, then we get the report, then the implementation. begins.
okay.
We're actually on the agenda for your next meeting, so we'll talk about that then.
Okay. So I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Nick.
Thank
You,
you.
Nick.
Thank you, everybody.
I think
for-
actually we got a lot done today. I think this was.
Jesse
Do
was
we have
funny.
someone else to sign?
Jesse was funny.
Is Jason McCarthy
That seems,
is Jason MacArthur still in the fire crew?
huh?
Is Jason MacArthur still in the fire crew?
Don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that in that thing. I
So
don't
I
think
think it's
he
got
is.
him
Shut off
listed.
the
It's just-
recording.
That's not who I've ever, everybody else has ever thought.
Hold on.
Before we